Imagine a world where love in its purest form reigns supreme. Now imagine a world that just won't allow it. This is the stark reality we face in American Christianity today. For over a quarter of a century, I've been immersed in the essence of ministry, grappling with a question that gnaws at the very foundation of our faith. Why is it so difficult for people to love as Christ loved? The answer, a revelation both profound and unsettling, has finally emerged. It's crystal clear and unavoidable. The architecture of American Christianity, by very design, fundamentally disables genuine love. Instead, it builds walls where there should be open arms. It fosters marginalization, ridicule, and shame of those who do not adhere to whatever the self-righteous standards might be. These standards are often more about power than piety, more about control than compassion. The challenge we face is not just theological, it's architectural. It's built into the very structures and strategies that define the churches of our day. If the foundation is flawed, then how sturdy can the house be? See, things like misogyny and bigotry, those twin pillars of exclusion, they stand at the gates of many churches. They masquerade as gatekeepers of morality. They turn away seekers, they turn away believers, anyone, honestly, who doesn't fit the narrow mold of what's an accepted norm. The question now is not why this happens, but how can we dismantle these barriers? How can we do this in such a way that we can embody the message of love of the gospel? To address these deeply ingrained issues, we have to wield powerful tools for change, tools that just doesn't only challenge but dismantle the status quo. Here's a couple of ideas. How about biblical authority? Returning to the Bible. Not as a weapon to wield in cultural wars, but as a foundation for true understanding and love. To preach with all authority, yes, but let that authority be grounded in the transformative power of the love of God through Christ, not in the preservation of our human bigotries and prejudices. The Bible, when wielded with discernment and compassion, it has the power to cut through the chains of bigotry and misogyny. What about accountability and leadership? Pastors, it's got to start from the top. Leaders within the church must be held accountable for honestly perpetuating or allowing a culture to hate and exclude. This accountability should not be punitive, but transformative, aiming to educate and to reform. Leaders must be pioneers in the journey toward inclusivity, setting examples that resonate through every teaching, every sermon, and every interaction. What about that? The community, the engagement. Why don't we dialogue and foster safe places where people can constructively talk about their needs, to engage those voices who are marginalized and hear the pain and the stories behind the statistics so that we can actually open and be vulnerable and create a platform where healing can begin and barriers can be dismantled. See, if we aspire to see a future where Christian love is just not preached, but it's also practiced, we've got to start rebuilding the very foundations of our faith communities. We've got to be architects of a new Christianity, one that embraces the revolutionary love of God through Jesus Christ, a love that knows no boundaries, and listen to this, excludes no one, and then heals all wounds. Together, we can transform our faith. We can transform our churches into beacons of hope and love in a divided world. Together, we can live out the gospel. The question is, do we want to? Are you listening? You want to learn more? Then follow me.